Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm an American living in France, and I'm going to tell you today about my OFII experience. OFII is the Office of French Immigration and Integration. So when you're coming in from a non-European Union country, you have to go through this process. It includes a medical exam as well as a language test and interview. And after that, after the language test, you're assigned 4 classes, which are to help you integrate better into French life. These are called formation civique, civic formation classes, and they consist of, you're scheduled the first 3 classes at your first visit with OFII, and then on the 3rd class, your 3rd formation civique class, you're assigned the 4th class. I'm told that this is because it's through a different agency, but we were taught by the same instructor throughout the entire process. So the initial visit with OFII, I was a bit intimidated. I didn't know anything about what I was getting into, but you go into this classroom with about 25 or 30 other people, all from different countries. Some of them were from French-speaking countries, and I know a few of them were a bit annoyed to have to take a French test when they spoke French fluently in their country. But everyone has to take it. Even if you're not fluent in French, you still have to sit through a written test. So there were maybe 4 or 5 questions. There was an article that you had to answer multiple choice questions about. There was a pretend text conversation as if you were texting someone and you had to respond in French. And then there was, I can't remember some of the other questions. One of them was a letter I think you had to write to French administration. And so there was a problem and you had to respond to that. And so once you complete that, you turn it in and they grade it. And you never get the result of that other than to find out your level of French. But then you wait until you'll have an individual meeting with an employee at OFII. And this is a spoken, kind of like an oral test. So you talk with them in French if you can. And so then they give you your assessment. I think I was an A2. So there's beginner, below A1, there's A1, A2, and then B1 and above. So because I was A2, I was exempt from taking language courses. If you are A1 or below, you're required to take language courses to help you integrate. After this, I was passed over to another employee who scheduled my formation civique classes, which are civic formation classes. And the idea of these are to help you integrate into French life. So you're assigned, there are 4 total, 4 different days you have to go, and they find a local office for you to go to. Mine was about an hour away, so they're not always close. But this meeting was in Toulouse, which was 2.5 hours from where I live, so I was thankful to be closer than Toulouse. So after I had all of that scheduled, I was offered language classes for free, but those would be an hour away as well. So I said I could look for other options. There are options in most towns have like a Red Cross or another nonprofit organization where you're able to take some French lessons. So that's always an option. The initial visit probably only took about 2 hours. It took me longer to drive there and back than it did to actually be at the office. And the only thing that really surprised me was the way the employees spoke with each person. They weren't really slowing down their French. they didn't seem to understand that we didn't speak French fluently, which is surprising because it is an Office of Immigration and Integration. So you would think they would be a little bit more understanding. The woman I spoke to seemed very surprised that I didn't understand some of the words she was using. To me, I'm able to get by pretty well when I need to go buy something at the market or go shopping or order from a menu, but being able to talk about scheduling and laws and language and understanding some of the things she was telling me about, I just didn't have those words. And so I was just a bit surprised at, I guess, their lack of understanding, especially when they do this day in and out. You would think they would be used to dealing with people from different countries.